Red Dead Redemption 2 is widely considered one of the greatest video games of all time, a masterpiece of narrative, world building, and emotional depth. But there's something beneath all of that, something that never demands your attention or constantly earns it. Of course, I'm talking about the music. This isn't just a great video game score, it's something far more meaningful, something that transcends the screen. Today, we're exploring the music of Red Dead Redemption 2 through its composers, its impact on the game, its reach outside of it, and what makes it such an unforgettable work of art. At the heart of Red Dead Redemption 2's sound is Woody Jackson, a multi-instrumentalist and composer who has become a central figure in Rockstar's audio identity. Jackson had previously worked on multiple Rockstar titles, such as Red Dead Redemption, LA Noire, and Grand Theft Auto 5. But Red Dead Redemption 2 was probably his biggest project ever. He recorded over 500 individual pieces of music for the game, crafted more than 60 hours of score. Not loops, not tracks, living soundscapes. All performed using vintage instruments, analog equipment, and real musicians. Jackson's goal wasn't to write catchy melodies, it was to build a living, breathing, sonic world that moved with the player. Inside the game, the music isn't just background, it's embedded in the DNA of the experience. Red Dead Redemption 2 uses a dynamic scoring system that means that the music reacts in real time to what you're doing, your speed, your location, your choices. This creates a score that feels personal. Every ride through the plains, every quiet moment at camp, every final goodbye, the music is there, shifting with you. And then there are the key narrative moments, vocal-driven tracks, like That's the Way It Is,
That's the way
Unshaken,
stand unshaken.
Cruel World,
Cruel, cruel world, must I go on?
and of course, American Venom. These aren't just musical cues, they're emotional turning points. The songs don't tell you what to feel, they hold space for what you're already feeling. This suddenly is what gives the soundtrack so much power. It doesn't fight for attention, it earns it, quietly and permanently. The impact of Red Dead Redemption 2's music didn't stop at the game's borders. The official soundtrack, which features artists like D'Angelo, Rihanna Giddens, Daniel Leonis, and Willie Nelson. Should apologize if I butchered any of those names. But they were released separately and received critical acclaim as a standalone album. Songs like Unshaken became viral hits, gaining millions of streams and entering playlists well beyond the gaming community. Cover versions, remixes, and emotional reaction videos flooded YouTube and TikTok, a clear sign that this music wasn't just good for a video game, it was good, period. Some fans have even used the songs like That's the Way It Is, my personal favorite, at weddings, funerals, and personal milestone moments. Proof that the music has touched people's lives far beyond the world of Arthur Morgan. To understand why the music in Red Dead Redemption 2 resonates so deeply, we have to look on how it's built, not in just terms of composition, but in terms of emotional function, structure, and intent. Unlike most game soundtracks, this one doesn't rely on bombastic melodies or constant scoring. It's designed to work like a subconscious emotional thread, something you feel more than you notice. First, there's the instrumentation and texture. Woody Jackson and his collaborators didn't just write music, they crafted sounds that feel like they came from the land itself. The guitar tones are dry and twangy, played on aged acoustic and resonator guitars. You hear slow, soulful bends, often just a few notes, letting them hang in the air. That space, that silence between the notes, it's crucial. It reflects the slow decay rhythm of the world itself. You'll hear slide guitars, often drenched in reverb, evoking the sense of drifting across a fading landscape. There are mournful violins, Native American flutes, soft hand percussion, and even field recordings of wind, water, and fire, all mixed to feel natural, not cinematic. And when there's piano, It's sparse, raw, and unpolished, more like someone sitting alone at night than a polished studio take. The intimacy is intentional. This restraint, this refusal to overproduce, is what allows the music to blend seamlessly into the world. You're never pulled out of the experience, you're pulled deeper in. Next, let's talk about the regional scorings, one of the most powerful tools the soundtrack uses. Each area in Red Dead Redemption 2 has its own musical identity, tied to a mood, geography, and narrative tone. In New Hanover, the music feels open. It's earthy, grounded, sometimes even hopeful. Acoustic guitars in opening tunes evoke the sense of opportunity, of freedom still possible. In Lemoyne, especially the swamps and bayou, the tone shift. The score leans into Southern Gothic, darker progression, slow drones, and eerie slides. It feels like decay in its soil. When you move into Ambrino, things become sparse and reflective. The music is mostly atmosphere, low strings, distant pads, sometimes a single violin. It mirrors the mountains, cold, isolated, and ancient. In Saint Denis, there's a subtle change towards structure. The instruments feel tighter, more rhythmic, reflecting the rising influence of industry and order. But it's not triumphant, it's clinical, detached. Warma is short lived, but its music is notably different. Incorporating Latin rhythms and new percussion, it feels foreign, um, disorienting, and intentionally out of place. You're not supposed to feel at home here, and the music makes sure of it. This kind of geographic music storytelling isn't something you find in most games, or even in most films. It's an invisible layer of design that subconsciously guides how you experience the world. Then there's the way the music interacts with morality. As Arthur's honor level shifts, so does the tone of the soundtrack. Subtly, but consistently. A high honor Arthur will hear more melancholy, reflecting music. There's sadness, but also peace. The music understands that he's trying to do right, even when it hurts. Below honor Arthur, here's darker textures. The guitar gets harsher. The harmony's more distant. You're not being judged by the game, you're just being reflected. It's a mirror, not a message. This means that two players can experience the same story with an entirely different emotional soundtrack. Not because of a major scripted scenes, but because the game is constantly composing around them. Finally, we have the vocal themes, and their impact cannot be overstated. Rockstar holds back these key emotional moments. When they finally arrive, it hits you like a memory. These songs are not just music, they're punctuation marks on Arthur's emotional journey. That's the Way It Is plays as Arthur accepts his fate. One of the most emotional resonant sequences in any game, evaluated by the music's gentle acceptance of loss. Unshaken, rise after everything's gone sideways. You're riding back from Guarmo, the gang is falling apart, and Arthur is broken, but the lyrics don't wallow. They're stoic, resilient. They're a perfect mirror for a man who's been through hell, but keeps going. And, of course, American Venom, Jon's final ride. It's not triumphant, it's driven, harsh. Feels like justice riding down the mountain. Not for glory, but for closure. These songs aren't just inserted for drama. They're close emotional chapters, and because they're used so sparingly, they feel very sacred. Finally, when you combine all these factors, the music geography, the morality based scoring, the narrative placement of key songs, you realize something. This isn't a soundtrack that follows the game, it's a soundtrack that becomes the game. Every note is tied to your action, your choices, your journey. But by the time is over, whether you ride off into the sunset or fall under it, the music has told your story just as much as the dialogue or the script. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just a game you play. It's a story you live, and its soundtrack is your companion through every step of that journey. Woody Jackson's work doesn't just score a world, it scores a life. One filled with doubt, pain, love, loss, and of course, redemption. That's why this music stays with you long after the game ends. It's more than a soundtrack, it's soul. And of course, with that, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to hit that like button. Greatly appreciated. Of course, if you want to hear me talk about random games musics, and of course, just seeing me play random games, hit the subscribe button. It's completely free. You can always change your mind later. So yeah, with that, thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I'll check. I'm sorry, it's late. I'm recording this very late at night. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.